Angel Reese is a champion again, but this time, almost no one paid attention. Social media quickly erupted after her team, the Rose, won the inaugural Unrivaled League championship. Fans flooded Twitter, celebrating her achievement. Angel Reese, LSU national champion, WNBA rebounding leader, unrivaled champion, and defensive player of the year. But there's a catch. She didn't even play in the playoffs. Instead of being on the court, Reese was at LeBron James's son's high school state championship game. Meanwhile, her unrivaled teammates were grinding through the postseason, securing the title without her. And yet, she FaceTimed into the celebration, as if she had just dropped 40 points in the finals. The Unrivaled League was marketed as a game-changing moment for women's basketball, a fresh, exciting 3-on-3 full-court format. But let's be honest, most basketball fans barely noticed. This wasn't the WNBA finals. It wasn't March Madness. It wasn't even a true 5-on-5 professional league. Yet ESPN and other media outlets hyped it up like it was the biggest moment in women's basketball. Now imagine if Caitlin Clark had skipped a championship game and still expected praise. The media would have torn her apart. But when it comes to Angel Reese, the rules seem to be different. Reese is undoubtedly talented, but her career so far has been defined more by narratives than pure dominance on the court. Yes, she was an elite rebounder in college. Yes, she won a national championship with LSU. But since entering the WNBA, she has struggled with efficiency, shooting percentages, and foul trouble. And yet, every accomplishment, no matter how minor, is magnified by the media. That's why this unrivaled title is being paraded around as a career-defining achievement, even though she didn't play in the final 2 games. This isn't about discrediting Angel Reese. It's about setting the record straight. Champions lead their teams when it matters. Champions don't FaceTime into celebrations. Champions don't let their teams win without them and still expect the credit. The real story, the Rose looked better without her. Chelsea Gray dominated in the championship game, proving she was the true star of the team. Yet, instead of the media celebrating the players who actually won, they shifted the focus back to Reese. This isn't how we treat legends. When LeBron James or Steph Curry win a title, they're the ones hitting the clutch shots. When Aja Wilson and Brianna Stewart win, they're on the floor leading their teams. Reese! She was on the couch, watching from home. Caitlin Clark is changing the game. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark is rewriting the story of women's basketball. Her impact is undeniable. Her presence alone has led to a 105% increase in WNBA attendance at games she plays in, an 87% jump in road game attendance for the Indiana Fever, a 200% increase in WNBA viewership during her rookie debut. Clark is growing the game through actual performance, through sweat, skill, and consistency. She's taking hits every night, battling against tough defenses, and still delivering. And that's the difference. Clark is a must-watch player because of what she does on the court. Reese is being packaged as a superstar even when her play doesn't back it up. The big question, where does Reese go from here? So what's next for Angel Reese? Will she continue to ride the wave of media protection? Or will she step up, prove the doubters wrong, and show that she can truly dominate at the professional level? The lights of the media are bright, but they're also unforgiving. At some point, the narratives won't be enough. The numbers will matter. The performances will define legacies. If Angel Reese wants to be remembered as one of the greats, she has to do more than just be part of the conversation. She has to prove it, on the court when it matters most. Do you think Angel Reese's championship win is legitimate? Or is this just another case of media hype? Let me know in the comments, hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe for more basketball content. Controversies surrounding Angel Reese's unrivaled championship is the fact that she didn't even play in the final 2 games, including the championship. When you think about the greats in basketball, whether it's Michael Jordan, LeBron James, or even Caitlin Clark, you expect them to show up when the stakes are at their highest. Reese, however, was absent when her team, the Rose, fought for the title. The question is, why didn't she play? Was she injured? Was there a scheduling conflict? No. Instead of preparing for the playoffs or supporting her team in person, she was seen at LeBron James's son's high school state championship game. That raises an important question. If this championship truly mattered to Reese, why wasn't she there? She had the time, she had the resources, and she clearly could have shown up, but she didn't. Imagine if Caitlin Clark had missed an NCAA or WNBA championship game and then still celebrated the title as if she were the driving force behind it. the media and fans would be tearing her apart. But with Reese, the reaction has been different. This double standard fuels the skepticism surrounding her reputation. Did she really win this title, or was she just along for the ride? The way Angel Reese's career has been covered in the media is a fascinating case study in narrative building. While she is undoubtedly a talented player, the media has continuously elevated her achievements, even when they don't necessarily warrant it. This unrivaled championship is just the latest example. Instead of acknowledging that Reese didn't play in the biggest moments, the media pushed the idea that she was still a champion. ESPN and other outlets highlighted her title, while conveniently ignoring the fact that she was absent for the games that actually decided it. Now, compare this to how other players are treated. Caitlin Clark is scrutinized for every missed shot, turnover, and tough game. If she isn't at her best, she's picked apart. Angel Wilson, despite being one of the most dominant players in the WNBA, doesn't get the same level of media backing as Reese. Chelsea Gray, who actually dominated the unrivaled championship game, was an afterthought in the media coverage, because Reese's name draws more engagement. The media often criticizes athletes for taking credit for wins they didn't contribute to, yet Reese continues to be celebrated as if she were the star of the show. This type of narrative shaping isn't accidental. It's part of a larger trend of elevating certain players while ignoring others who actually put in the work. At some point, though, the hype has to match reality. Fans and analysts are starting to see through the exaggeration, and if Reese's performance doesn't back up the media's portrayal, the backlash will only grow. Another major talking point is whether this unrivaled championship even holds weight in the first place. The league was marketed as a new and exciting alternative for women's basketball, but let's be honest, it's a glorified summer league. Unlike the WNBA or NCAA basketball, Unrivaled uses a 3-on-3 format instead of traditional 5-on-5 play. While 3-on-3 basketball has gained popularity in international competitions, it's not the same as full-court professional basketball. Many of the sport's biggest stars, like Caitlin Clark, Angel Wilson, and Kelsey Plum, didn't even participate or left early, signaling that this wasn't a high-priority event. Yet, despite the lack of competition and fan interest, the media has tried to spin this championship as a major accomplishment. But here's the truth. The games weren't widely watched. The league didn't generate significant buzz. Even Reese herself didn't seem to take it seriously. Otherwise, she would have played in the playoffs. So why are we pretending this title is equal to winning an NCAA championship or a WNBA finals? If anything, this situation exposes how much Reese's brand is built on perception rather than production. She wasn't the key player in the championship, yet the media still frames it as another feather in her cap. At some point, the conversation needs to shift to what this all means for Angel Reese's future. Right now, her career exists in an interesting space. She's famous, she's marketable, but how much of that is based on skill versus media attention? Let's be clear. Reese was a dominant force in college. At LSU, she helped lead her team to a national championship and was the best rebounder in the country. But as she transitions to the professional level, some glaring issues have emerged. Inefficiency on offense. Reese's scoring is largely dependent on putbacks and physicality rather than a diverse offensive skill set. Unlike elite WNBA forwards, she lacks a consistent mid-range or three-point shot, making her predictable on offense. Limited versatility. Unlike players like Angel Wilson, Breanna Stewart, or even Aaliyah Boston, Reese hasn't showcased an advanced offensive game that would make her a true superstar in the WNBA. Free throw struggles. Her high rebounding numbers in college often came with missed putbacks and low free throw efficiency, which won't translate well to the WNBA, where defenses are stronger and more disciplined. Defensive limitations. While she is an elite rebounder, she is not a dominant shot blocker or rim protector, which limits her impact on the defensive end. So, where does this leave Angel Reese's legacy? Is she a future WNBA superstar or just a marketable name? There's a difference between being a great player and being a popular figure. Right now, Reese is one of the most talked about players in women's basketball, but when you compare her numbers and actual impact on the court, she is not on the same level as true WNBA superstars like Angel Wilson, Breanna Stewart, or even someone like Kelsey Plum. This doesn't mean she can't develop into a star, but the media-driven narrative around her is moving faster than her actual game. If she develops a mid-range shot, improves her free throw shooting, and expands her offensive repertoire, she could become a legitimate franchise player. If she doesn't, she risks being remembered more for her media presence than her actual performance on the court. So, the question is Angel Reese going to work on her game and silence the critics, or will she continue relying on social media attention to stay relevant? The media plays a huge role in how we perceive athletes, and in Angel Reese's case, the hype far exceeds the reality. Whenever she wins something, even if it's a minor tournament like Unrivaled, the coverage blows it up as a major achievement. When she struggles or doesn't perform at an elite level, there's very little critical analysis. Instead of acknowledging the actual flaws in her game, the focus shifts to narratives like she's a cultural icon or she's changing the game. Compare this to how other players are treated. Caitlin Clark is analysed after every single game. If she has an off night, people talk about it. Angel Wilson dominates the WNBA, but she doesn't get nearly as much attention despite being one of the best players in the league. Breanna Stewart has multiple championships and MVP awards, but doesn't receive half the hype that Reese does. This is not to say that Angel Reese shouldn't be covered, but the inconsistency in coverage is what stands out. If she wants to be mentioned alongside real legends, her game needs to back up the hype. The social media star versus basketball star dilemma. There is a growing trend in sports where social media presence can make someone seem bigger than they actually are on the court. Angel Reese benefits from this in a major way. Her online following keeps her name trending, even when her performance doesn't warrant it. Media outlets love controversy and drama, and she plays into that perfectly. Networks like ESPN push the narrative because it drives engagement, even if the actual basketball doesn't back it up. But this can only last for so long. Eventually, fans and analysts will start asking the tough questions. Can she be a legitimate number one option on a WNBA team? Can she carry a team to a championship? Or is she simply a role player with a strong personality? At some point, the game itself has to be the main attraction, not the social media presence. And right now, Angel Reese's game isn't living up to the hype. So, where does all of this leave us? What should we take away from this conversation about Angel Reese, her career, and the way the media portrays her? At the end of the day, the real question is substance versus perception. Angel Reese is undeniably a talented player. No one can take away her national championship at LSU or her ability to dominate the boards. She has an undeniable presence on the court, and she's one of the most recognizable faces in women's basketball today. But the real issue isn't just about recognition, it's about what she does with that spotlight. Right now, the narrative surrounding her is moving faster than her actual game. The media elevates her at every opportunity, and social media turns every moment into a spectacle, whether it's deserved or not. She is constantly trending, constantly being talked about, and constantly positioned as a major star. But when you break it all down and look at the actual numbers, the impact, and the on-court performances, does the hype match the reality? If Caitlin Clark skipped a championship game, would the media celebrate her as if she had won? Absolutely not. The headlines would be brutal. If Angel Wilson missed a championship game, would the media still try to credit her for the win? No chance. But somehow, when Angel Reese FaceTimes into a championship celebration, it still gets spun as another historic accomplishment in her career. The greats, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Steph Curry, show up when it matters most. They don't just collect championships, they lead their teams to championships. They don't rely on narratives to carry their careers, they let their play do the talking. Angel Reese is at a crossroads. She has all the tools to be great. She's got the size, she's got the rebounding skills, she's got the platform. But the question remains, will she put in the work to elevate her game? Will she develop her offensive skill set? Will she refine her defense and prove she can be more than just a physical presence in the paint? Or will she continue to coast on media hype, social media engagement, and controversy while the real superstars of the game, Angel Wilson, Breanna Stewart, and Caitlin Clark, continue to define the future of women's basketball? This is where we separate the legends from the viral moments. Championships aren't just handed out based on social media presence. They're won by being the best, when the moment is the biggest. At some point, Angel Reese will have to make a decision. Will she embrace the hard work, refine her game, and truly earn her place among the WNBA's best? Or will she continue relying on Twitter hype and media narratives to keep her name in the conversation? Because at the end of the day, basketball doesn't care about followers. It doesn't care about trends. It doesn't care about viral moments. It cares about who shows up, who performs, and who dominates when it matters most. So, What's it going to be, Angel? The work or the hype? Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you believe Angel Reese will level up her game and become a true WNBA superstar? Or do you think she's going to rely on media hype to keep her career afloat? I want to hear your thoughts. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on more deep dives into the world of basketball. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.